One joke, one reaction, and a moment that froze the world. For a split second, everything stopped. The laughter, the glamour, the illusion. What happened that night wasn't just a slap, it was emotion escaping control. Live, unfiltered, and impossible to rewind. The Oscars are meant to be safe, carefully planned, every smile timed, every joke approved, every reaction expected. It's Hollywood at its most controlled. Until suddenly, it wasn't. The joke lands. At first, Will Smith laughs, not because it's funny, but because that's what you do. The cameras are on, the room is watching, and sometimes your body reacts before your heart does. Then the camera cuts, and the laughter dies. Jada Pinkett Smith's face tells a different story. Not anger, not outrage, just hurt. And that look changes everything, because in that moment, this stops being a public joke and becomes a private wound exposed in front of millions. Will Smith stands up. Most people think it's a skit. It has to be. Nothing real happens like this on a stage this polished. But the walk is different. There's no smile, no exaggeration, no performance, just silence. Every step feels heavy, like a decision being made in real time. And before anyone can fully understand what's happening, history happens. No background music, no laughter to soften it, no warning, just shock. Across the world, millions of people sit frozen, realizing they've just witnessed something deeply human in a place designed to hide humanity behind perfection. Chris Rock stands still. You can see the moment hit him, not just physically, but mentally. Confusion, disbelief, shock, and then restraint. He doesn't explode, he doesn't fall apart. He steadies himself and continues. Because when you're on live television, you don't get the luxury of processing pain privately. The show moves on, but the moment doesn't. Culture reacts instantly, especially hip-hop. On Jimmy Cooks, 21 Savage turns the moment into a line that cuts straight to the point.
If I was Will Smith, I would have slapped him with a stick.
Loyalty, respect, consequence. Because hip-hop has always spoken the language of reaction, of defending what's yours, of drawing lines. The slap stops being just a clip. It becomes a symbol, a moment people project themselves onto. Some see protection, some see loss of control, some see both. Minutes later, the night delivers its cruelest irony. Will Smith wins Best Actor. He stands on the same stage, tears in his eyes, voice shaking. He talks about love, about protecting family, about carrying responsibility. The room applauds, but outside that room, the world is asking harder questions. Because applause doesn't erase actions, and emotions don't cancel consequences. Time passes, and eventually, the noise quiets enough for reflection. On All the Smoke, Will Smith speaks again, not as a movie star, but as a man. He doesn't excuse it, he doesn't justify it, he owns it, calls it a horrific night, a moment where emotion took the wheel. And that honesty changes the conversation, because accountability doesn't mean perfection, it means facing what you did without hiding. This story was never about choosing sides. It was about being human, about how quickly pressure can turn into reaction, how love can mix with ego, how pain can surface in the worst possible moment. Standing up for someone you love is human, losing control is human, but growth comes after. This wasn't about Hollywood, it was about us, flawed, emotional, watching ourselves reflected on the biggest stage in the world. It's revealed when they fall apart. Because at the end of the night, no awards were the real story. Not the standing ovation, not the headlines, not the memes that followed. The real story was a moment every human recognizes, when emotion gets there before wisdom does, when love, pride, pressure, and pain collide in a single second, and there's no pause button. That stage wasn't just a Hollywood set anymore, it was a mirror, a reminder that status doesn't erase struggle, fame doesn't cancel emotion, and success doesn't make you immune to losing control. We all have moments we wish we could rewind, words we'd take back, reactions we'd soften. That night, one man made his in front of the world, and what followed wasn't a lesson about violence or comedy or celebrities. It was a lesson about accountability, about sitting with your worst moment instead of running from it, about owning the damage instead of denying it, about choosing growth when the cameras are gone. Because character isn't built in applause. It's revealed in silence, after the lights dim, after the crowd leaves, and you're alone with what you did. And maybe that's why this moment still matters. Not because of the slap, but because it reminded us that being human is messy, growth is uncomfortable, and the real test of who we are comes after the mistake, not before. And when the cameras finally stopped rolling, when the applause faded, and the internet moved on to the next headline, what remained wasn't a slap. It was silence. The kind of silence that follows a mistake you can't undo. The kind that forces you to sit with yourself, without filters, without edits, without excuses. Because moments like this don't disappear. They stay with you. They replay in your mind at night. They show up in quiet rooms and empty mornings. And that's something no trophy can protect you from. That night didn't just expose a man. It exposed a truth we don't like to talk about. That pressure changes people. That love can feel like fear. That pride can disguise itself as protection. And that emotion, when ignored long enough, eventually demands to be heard. We all carry breaking points, invisible lines we swear we'll never cross, until one day, we do. Most people never have the world watching when that happens. Most people get the grace of privacy, time to apologize quietly, time to reflect without judgment, echoing from every screen. That night, there was no privacy. Every flaw was magnified, every reaction dissected, every second replayed in slow motion. And maybe that's why it shook us so deeply. Because it wasn't perfect, it wasn't polished, it wasn't safe, it was human. It reminded us that strength isn't about never losing control. It's about what you do after you realize you did. It reminded us that accountability isn't a statement. It's a process, a painful one. It means sitting in discomfort, letting people be disappointed in you, accepting consequences without demanding forgiveness on your own timeline. That's not weakness, that's responsibility. And that's where the real story lives. Not on the stage, not in the memes, not in the outrage cycles.
Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.